Yeah. From the first word spoken to the last amen. Look, day one, I believe in the Father, maker of the heavens and the holler. Seen things unseen in the silence, whole world in his hands, that's balance. Light, land, oceans in order, skylines stretch past borders. Every breath, every law that's written came from the mind that isn't limited by minutes or distant. Feminine wisdom, perfect existence, one throne, no rival in the system. Alpha in the code, I listen. We believe, say it out loud. One God, one Son, one Spirit in the crowd. From the throne to the grave, then he rose in three. Whole church stand up, this is our creed. We believe, heart on sleeve. Every line in my soul like ink that bleeds. From the first I believe to the last, amen. That's the truth we stand on. Say it again. Only one sin, true God, true flesh, that's intent. Born from a woman, promise in the womb, royal in a manger, glory in the gloom. Walk dust, felt hunger in the heat, love wore sandals in the street. Spoke life, storm, her wind froze, touch of his hand, blind eyes rose. For I say took the blame, that's sentence. Cross on his back, that's penance. Laid in the grave, don't shut dark deep, third day, sun up, death fell asleep. Woo. Lifted up, backseated with the Father, all things under him, why bother? Running from grace when the gate wide, he'll come blazing, judge day, no size. We believe, say it out loud. One God, one Son, one Spirit in the crowd. From the throne to the grave, then he rose in three. Whole church stand up, this is our creed. We believe, heart on sleeve. Every line in my soul, I ain't that bleeds. From the first I believe to the last, amen. That's the truth we stand on. Say it again. I believe in the Spirit, breathe in the lungs. Fire in the room when the praise gets sung. Oh yeah. Prophets writes on us, holy, holy sets us apart. One church, one hope, one birth. Forgiveness reigning on this earth. Grace gonna crack when he calls our names. New life, new body, no shame. We believe. Say it out loud. One God, one Son, one Spirit in the crowd. From the throne to the grave, then he rose in three. Whole church stand up, this is our creed. We believe, heart on sleeve. Every line in my soul like ink that bleeds. From the first I believe to the last, amen. That's the truth we stand on. Say it again.
What is up, everybody? Whoa, huge jump in numbers. Welcome to the Call to Defend live stream. I am Caleb-less for right now. He will be joining us hopefully soon. He told me that he's going to be late. And so we're going to be looking at a couple things today regarding why we have been focusing on Islam for the first part of the year, honestly, and why we came back to it. Part of it is due to the fact that we are going to a conference on Thursday. We are leaving in the morning. So we actually will be streaming almost all of Thursday. In and out for you guys. You can jump in and join us as we are on the road, and while we're on the road and while we are at the conference itself. So hopefully make some connections, and we'll get involved with some people and to make connections and to be able to have some stuff to share with you guys that we got to learn in talking to Muslims and to sharing the gospel, and to also getting to debate or see debates between Muslims and Christians. And so that's all coming up this weekend. It'll be streaming all weekend pretty much, and we'll be uploading videos, shorts throughout the weekend. And so that's part of the reason. We also have been really kind of focusing on the fact that, one, we have 4 channels here. We have we do 4 channels because we have one main channel, and then it filters out to these other channels to kind of give a home base, because we do a lot of stuff and sometimes YouTube gets confused. So we have Call to Defend Regular, which I see some of you guys are already on here. We have Call to Defend Apologia, which I see some of you guys are on there as well. Apologia is our polemics and apologetics based channel. It is where we do a lot more of our critiquing of other religions. That's primarily Caleb's work, and I'm on for live streams as well. And so you'll be seeing more of that hopefully this week. After this weekend, we'll get a lot more stuff out of that. And then we have Graphai, which is where we do our regular podcast, and we usually do our more biblical studies and theology. We're posting some stuff on there. We just started using that again this past week after a few weeks off. And we have Ecclesia, which is our church history and denomination and all those kind of things. It's mostly church history now and church history theology. Like I have a video on the eternal generation of the Son coming out on Thursday while we're on the road. So you can check that out. We also have a podcast we do on there that's different than the podcast we do on Graphai. The one that's done on Ecclesia is the one done on Ecclesia is more like we have topics that the church has wrestled with or is like in discussion, and we kind of work through them together, Caleb and I. Let's see real quick. Got a you. I don't know what you mean by you, and I see hi. Please shout out me. Okay. Anyways, so part of the reason we've been focusing on Islam this month is due to the fact, like I said, we're going to this conference. And the other reason is because on a Polemic, on a Polemapol, as is the old name of it, sorry, that was a name that Caleb shot down because it's primarily more like his channel. But on Apologia, that's where we do a lot more of our polemics. And so that was the first polemic that Caleb was really tied into, was Islam. And so when he first came on, he wanted to do a couple apologetic stuff with me, and then he started doing some Islamic stuff. So that's part of it, is that we have a conference coming up and it's really focused on Islam in part. So we're returning to that because of the focus. However, this is good timing. I'm waiting to see if my internet, there we go. Another reason we kind of do this whole polemic for it is not just because we're going to this conference, but also due to the fact that in this year, at least in terms of making it more obvious, there have been a lot of Muslim threats within Christian apologetic spheres. Okay. There have been a lot of people getting threatened. Now, we did a video on this. We did a stream way back when. In fact, let me pull it up for you guys to see on your screens. It's a very unviewed one, but then again, this is when we just started doing live streams. So, you know, it is what it is. Wrong one. This one. Here we go. Share screen. And we're going to go to this page. Here we go. So over here, we have this video. When Dawa turned to doxing. Oops, sorry, it's not on the stage for you guys. There we go. When Dawa turned to doxing, we did this video a little ways back when the first issue that kind of came up was they started, Muslims started doxing, mostly speaking in this terms of Malik, who started doxing David Wood and started trying to take some shots at Inspiring Philosophy as well as God Logic or Avery Austin. Now, David Wood, I think his situation, he ended up making a response, and then he had the whole thing about how they're going to desecrate the Quran until the Muslims backed off. And that's when Caleb made his music video, the very first polemic song that we ever published on our channel. And I can't tell if I am entertained by it or scarred by it. Depends on the day and when he pulls it up. There's days where I'm scarred and there's days where it's fine. But that kind of sparked that whole thing. So part of it was there was a response, and we returned back to Islam apologetics or polemics because of that very issue. Then they started threatening to dox IP. However, some new stuff kind of happened, and I have two videos I wanted to look at today. And hopefully by the time we're done with looking at those two videos, then Caleb will be here because he wanted to talk about these two specific surahs, Surah 9 and Surah 24. Now, we can still go through those, but I know he has more specific thoughts regarding that, and I want to give him the space to be able to share his thoughts on why it is, especially on his heart, that he pushes back so much on Islam. I can give you my thoughts, but I want to kind of show you why we keep pushing back. And it's because, one of the reasons is because they are just, it's just a deceitful religion, all right? What I mean by that is that the perception is given, especially in the West, is that Islam is one that is peaceful and is kind and is good. But when you start to actually look at, first off, the religion itself, and then when you push back just a little bit, and not even really like by much, like you're just kind of pointing out the things that it teaches, there's responses that come from this. And these responses are like never good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the screen. This video we're going to show first. Switch over. Just tab instead. Okay, so Inspiring Philosophy made one video a while back, and he has that in the beginning of this video that we're going to look at. Is when he was first being threatened with doxing. Now, we're going to do is we're going to see that he adds on to this video. Right, so this was 11 days ago, I know in terms of the scope of like responding to the events that are happening, we're like 11 days behind. Really, ideally, we probably should have done this 11 days ago. Yet this still is pertinent. I think it should still be talked about. It doesn't need to be talked about just on doesn't need to be just talked about on the day that it comes out. It can continue to be talked about post that, and it should be continue to be talked about, because this is continuing to be a problem. So let's look at this. It's about a 4-minute video. We'll speed it up a little bit for you guys, just so you guys don't have to watch all of it. And yeah, let's get into this one. This is interesting.
Recently, you all know I had to update the online community that Muslims are threatening and doxing me and my family because I don't say Islam is peaceful.
So there you go, chat. That's IP's number. So IP, this is nothing, IP, by the way. Your front door is next. But we're taking it slow because we're going to go the distance, and this is going to affect you, IP, in more than one way. IP is going to have to move house next. You're going to have to move house next, IP, because you keep saying Islam is so unpeaceful. No, you're the one who provokes. Nobody's stupid, IP, Michael Jones. Your literal sister works at a school that has Muslims in it. You're a little Islamophobe, bro. We need to call the school. Oh, we're going to do it. Trust me.
The irony is not lost on anyone who has more than 2 brain cells. You're proving my point that Islam is a violent religion that must be opposed at all costs. Now, since I made that video,
no, okay, so just to catch everyone there real quick, that was from the first video he did, around the same time that David would have made his video. This is all the way back in January when this first started happening. Now, it's not the first time the Muslims ever made threats at all, but it's really the first time that it really started going on a more public sphere in terms of the West actually seeing it, especially within the United States. This is something that's been kind of people, you know, the way politics has been working lately and how people are trying to do this whole coexistence thing. They're trying to kind of downplay all this, or don't even realize it's happening, because we've been deceived either by people who are just trying to hide information that are in the Islam sphere or is not in the Islamic sphere. Now, here's the thing. One of the issues with the coexisting is that it's trying to say that, well, I understand what they want to do, and I can see where their heart at is at. On one hand, they want to try to say that all people should be able to live together and coexist, in the fact that we should not have to be in threat of or fear of other people. And I can get that. The issue is that when you're talking about these different religions, they do not all teach the same thing. That's the other half of the coexisting percent. At least the people I've talked to tend to misunderstand. Some people are trying to think that this coexisting is that all the religions can be true together, but the problem is they cannot. And let's just start with this very first fact. Islam teaches that Christ did not die on the cross. Historically speaking, there is far more evidence that supports that he did go on the cross. But what they'll say is, in response, at least according to the Quran, is that Allah made it to appear like he was on the cross, which means we've all been deceived, or the church's been deceived for approximately 600 years until Muhammad comes along and brings clarity on the issue. So for 600 years, God has lied about who was on the cross. That's an issue. Or he made it clear when they first appeared, but then all this nonsense then came spitting out. Either way, that's a huge issue, and it kind of shows that Allah is a failure. Now, here's the other thing, too. I read this recently in Gregory of Nyssa's response to Eunomius, and the way he puts it is that, for instance, with all this, in Islam, you cannot affirm that Allah is Father in any sense. Now, there are some ways to try to get around that, especially because Jesus does bow down and pray to what he says, Father God. He calls him Father. And it's no secret that I lean, like Caleb tries to play it more politically correct, I guess, with the idea of there's different views and models of the Trinity. It's very clear that I've made this clear several times. I'm a monarchical Trinitarian. More and more of like a firm, hard monarchical. There's hard monarchical and there's soft monarchical. I'm more towards the hard monarchical, I guess. And within there, as Gregory of Nyssa's view as well. And so I find Gregory's response interesting here. When he's responding to Eunomius, I think it's in book, either in his first or second book, and in there he starts to say that if Eunomius is talking about how God is immutable and unchanging, all these things that the things we attribute to God, and he says, if you're referring to the Father, we are in agreement. However, he then responds by saying that, look, here's the issue here. You guys don't actually, but you don't actually affirm that, though, because you do not believe that God is Father. So for Gregory of Nyssa, Father is an essential, like, I don't know if I want to use property or component. It's an essential thing to be God, that you need to be Father. Sorry, I hit my microphone. You need to be a father in order to be God. That's Gregory of Nyssa's view. And so that's very counter to what Islam is. So, and that's when he says that if you want to deny that God is Father, then you can just, go be like the Jews who affirm that God is, and there's a person or there's a being called God, and he's the Most High, but he's not the Father. And so in this case, like we really just do not agree with Muslims at all. Like the very fact, firstly, Christ did die on the cross as a historical fact, and that is something that we as Christians obviously believe because that's key to the resurrection. Now, Muslims will also reject the idea of God being Father, and so we do not affirm with Muslims because they would therefore have a different God because they do not affirm God who can be Father. So there's already, like, with this whole coexisting, first off, there's theologically just things that just do not go together. We cannot do the whole everything is technically true, especially when Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and life. No one comes to the Father except through me." And Islam denies that very idea. Okay, so that's just an example. But I understand what they want to say. They want to say that we can live together in the same area. That's another thing that they might coexist. But here's again the other issue. Islam in practice and what the Quran actually teaches, we talked about the past few streams, does not allow such an idea. And so that is very foreign to the Islamic way, according to the Quran. Now, most Western Muslims do not understand this, and that's why there's a debate that happened in at DC regarding whether or not Islam is compatible with the U.S. Constitution. But the people who are responding are very much either don't know, they're deceiving, or they're very Westernized Muslims, because when you see how Islam is actually practiced, and you see how it is described in the Quran and the Hadith, you see that it is not actually matched with the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights. You can go check our past streams regarding that specific topic. We bring up the actual surahs and the Hadith, and we bring up the Bill of Rights there. So if you want to look more into that, go check back a few weeks ago. We have that stream. Now, the point is that we're getting to is when we're looking at this response about to happen, this is not new for Islam. It's just becoming louder in the West. It's slowly becoming more exposed because the internet really exposes that. And the issue for them is that because we have the ability to screen grab or record or screenshot, it cannot hide anymore. Let me quickly respond to some comments here. Let's see. Caden Moore said about 1,000 times, hello. Well, hello to you, Caden Moore. Senju, J8C, hello. Great to have you come in. Sorry, what are you talking about? Today, we're focusing on Islam in preparation for a conference that my partner and I are going to be going to on Thursday. So we're looking at why we've been pushing back on Islam so much, especially as Christians. And you'll see more about that later. My partner, he should be here a little bit later. He is finishing something up with work, and then I think he's to do something with his daughter, and then he will be here. So we're going through this video that in recent history of stuff that's come out, and for people to kind of get caught up on what's going on in the world. We got Katie Moore again saying hello a bunch of times. Let's see. Good day, mate. How you doing? Doing well. So glad you're here. What are you talking about? I think I just went over that, so we're good. Christianity doesn't believe Trinity. That's incorrect. That is factually incorrect. Christianity does believe in the Trinity. You can trace it all the way back to the Apostolic Fathers and the Ante-Nicene Fathers in terms of post-biblical references. We have a video on that actually, and you do find it in the Old and New Testament. I've done a couple videos on the Old Testament specifically because that's more my field, and Caleb has done an entire section on the New Testament. So I would encourage you to go check out our playlist on that. This would just be historically and factually incorrect. And then we have Smith Law 3819. Hello, great to have you here. So glad you guys can join us. All right, so let's go back to the video. We just saw, for everyone who's just jumping in right now, we just saw IP. Oh, sorry, I don't know if it's actually, there we go. Sometimes the internet gets kind of buggy here. So we're in the middle of this video. For anyone who's just jumping in, we are looking at a couple different videos first today before we kind of really get into the pushback, just to provide some context to show that we're not just making things up. And so we're going through this video, the IP, or Inspiring Philosophy of Michael Jones. He put out 11 days ago. Again, we should have responded to this earlier. Oops, I knew it was there. We just didn't do it. But we're looking at this video where he kind of explains what happened in January, but then what is happening now regarding Muslims that are pushing back on him. So let's pull the screen back up and keep going with this clip because he got some more information he's going to be sharing with us based on some recent events, not some good ones. Actually, hold on. Let me make sure there's no other comments on Instagram or TikTok. We good. All right, let's get into it.
Muslims have continued to come after me by putting up what they think is my home address, as well as threatening physical violence and also to grape my wife.
IP, I'll rock you, IP. On Paru, I'll rock you. One hit and you're out. I said I'll make you my concubine. And I still stand on it. I will make you my concubine.
Nobody wants
Easy.
her. Nobody wants her. Well,
and hold on. I'll make IP's girl my concubine. I'll make David's girl my concubine. The house was next, right? This is the house that IP is funneling his fraud out of. Bathroom, kitchen. This is it right here. This is where this little blaspheming animal be coming from.
On top of all this, when I was in LA, the ringleader of this Muslim circus decided to stalk me and God Logic to the church that we were scheduled to speak at, and he claimed to have a weapon on him.
Hey, Henny, hey.
All right, so hopefully that's coming clear to you guys, those of you who are watching. But in the event it wasn't coming clear at all, I'll just summarize what just happened there. IP has recorded receipts from screen grabs that he got where there's several Muslims who are saying that they're going to rape his wife. They're saying they're going to make her his concubine, make David Wood's wife their concubines, all these kind of things. They're being very clear that they're being a little too forward, and with their oh, are we frozen? Let's make sure. Okay. In the event it was frozen, let me catch you guys up again. So within that, we had in that video, Inspiring Philosophy having screen recordings and screenshots of Muslims who were threatening to make his wife and David Wood's wife and Avery's wife their concubine. If you don't know what that is, look it up. So I don't feel like going into that and possibly getting YouTube to get mad at me. So, or TikTok or anyone getting mad at me. I'm not really in the mood for that. So either way, they're basically implying they want to do some explicit things. Now, they're also doxing his house and they're releasing where he lives. Again, this is just in case the video cut out for you guys. I'm having some struggles with the internet today, but I didn't want to miss today's stream. So they're releasing his information. They're pushing out for these things. They're threatening his wife. They're talking about doing things to his wife. Now you can say that, well, you know, that's maybe like a small group of Muslims. That's not the norm. However, you can look at the studies, and we looked at a couple of them last Thursday, I think it was, where you see that this is more common practice in Islam, especially when you get outside of the Western sphere. Is more in the Western sphere that because they're in the minority and because they don't really have as much sway yet, that they're acting a different way, or they're very, very westernized. And if they're very westernized, then they're not really aware what the Quran actually teaches. Now, they may know how to pronounce Arabic words, but it doesn't mean they actually know what it means. And so the question is, do they the question is then going to be, do they know what the Quran actually teaches and what the Arabic words mean, and what does that entail for Islam? So we're going to keep rolling though with this video. If things keep cutting out, let me know in the comment section just so I'm aware and I can best serve you guys. Here, actually, I'll just do this. I'll even add this to the screen. There we go. But here, let me get the video back up. Let me know in the comments if it's getting buggy or if I'm getting caught. And if I am, no, it's the internet sucking. Anyways.
Pee in the back or back pocket or not? Nah, hell no. Not at church. No, not church. I'm talking about the pier. Oh, yeah, I would. Because they call security right now. Watch. I just seen it. This is why, Issa, I have that 6th sense. You get what I'm saying? Yep. I have the 6th sense. Look, they're right there.
The main reason this is pretty terrifying is that...
Okay, so right there we have, the, again, another recording grabbed of Muslims stalking Avery and Avery and God Logic are the same person. Avery and Michael Jones to the church that they were supposed to be speaking at. And so with that, we have some pretty, I mean, it's kind of sketchy. And that's not really something you want to be having or seeing. It's concerning that these things are happening. And people want to say that this is not a product of Islam. But again, here's the thing. All Inspired Philosophy has done is just point out some of the errors in the Quran. He's just pointing out some of the errors and the issues that the Hadith teach. But it's not like he's like threatening them. He's not doing things to them. These are just things that they are they're just making these responses. They're jumping to violence. And that is pretty terrifying and pretty problematic. And so let's kind of hear what he has to say about this from his perspective. Once we get this loaded, there we go.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. I have the 6th sense. Look, they're right there.
The main reason this is pretty terrifying is that other content creators have been going through similar issues and even being targeted by terrorist organizations.
I was threatened by a terrorist.
We're actually going to watch this video more specifically. I couldn't find it on YouTube and TikTok was giving me issues. So we're going to watch another IP clip where they share the full video of this. We're going to be looking at this one in a bit. So I'll just skip ahead of it for now because I kind of want to be able to see more of the full conversation.
Pictures of me, private information, and we're actively looking for my address with plans to unalive me and the
Dress. On top of all this madness, my wife and I are expecting our 2nd child to be born soon. So to keep my family safe while I keep spreading the gospel online, I have no choice but to move to a new home. We found a reasonably priced home far from here in a gated community for added protection, but I can't afford it on the salary I'm making, especially with another kid coming soon. So that's why I'm asking you for help. I created a GoFundMe, which is a link below, which you can give to and help us move to a new home. Please help me keep my family safe, and I'll keep fighting. I'll keep spreading the gospel.
All right, so within that, we clearly see that what this has done, and this is just like a few of the recordings where he was just sharing. There could be more. That could be all there is. There could be more, especially if there's things being shared. We don't know how many things are being done. For instance, David 1, when he was sharing about what he was going through, there was a few recordings that he shared specifically from Malik, but there was a ton of recording receipts in terms of the actual phone calls that he was receiving. So with that, with that kind of thing, what we're seeing is that they do not really, especially those who are more aware of what Islam actually is, what it actually teaches, which I have a Quran. I have read through. Caleb has read through it numerous times. I've read through it. I've polemicized again. I've talked to Muslims online and in person. Either they don't know or they do know, and they therefore try to find some way around it all. The problem is this. The result that it tends to leave, especially when there's a lot of pushback and things are becoming more and more clear, is that they're turning to doxing and they're turning to violence. They're turning to very inappropriate comments. Again, you can try to say this is not common practice, maybe this is an exception. You can try to make the argument for talking about the West, but when you look at the East, you look at the actual things that are happening there, and you actually read the Quran, you don't see that actually being backed up. Okay. And again, when Caleb gets here, we're going to look through Surah 9, Surah 24. If he doesn't get here in time, then I'll go through it. But like I said, I would love to have him be here because it's something that's been really on his mind and his heart. And so I really want to be able to share more of this perspective. Okay, so first off right there, why do we push back? Based on that video. Okay, so based on that video, we want to push back because if there is a truth, then we wish we wanted to be seekers of that truth. Okay. And if we have a source that's claiming truth, but is found to be in contradiction, and it is actually bringing out lower values of humanity, is viewing people lesser, it is bringing destructive practices, destructive tendencies. We looked at a few studies back during Ramadan and like the things that it has, like things that shouldn't be spiking up, but they are spiking up, such as death and certain diseases and certain like heart rates and certain I forgot what the other thing was, something that you shouldn't be getting if you're not supposed to be eating and you're supposed to be fasting. But anyways, when you kind of see all these things, you're starting to realize that there's something about this that doesn't seem to be true. I mean, again, let's go back to the Unitarian issue first, because Muslims would effectively be Unitarian, and just philosophically speaking, that makes God a dependent being who depends on his creatures. Meaning that, and first off, like with Gregory of Nyssa, to talk about God and saying that the Father is an essential thing to be God. So for Gregory's mind, you can't be God and not Father. And so if God is not Father, and there is no Son eternally with him, then he is dependent on a creature to have that relationship, to have that relation. And that goes back to another thing that Caleb's talked about that kind of debunks Islam, philosophically speaking, where you talk about how Islam will say that Allah is all merciful. Well, all mercy would be something that they would have to then attribute to someone, and if it's just him by himself, there's no one to give mercy to. So he's dependent on a creature to be merciful. And for the Christian, we would say the mercy is an outpouring of love, and that's not an issue because you have the Father who generates the Son or communicates the essence to the Son, and so therefore you have first off an eternal relationship. Because it's happening eternally. This is like Athanasius uses an example of the sun and its rays. Sorry, I think I froze there. Athanasius uses the example of the sun and rays, and with that, he demonstrates how this is possible to be a simultaneous thing because you cannot have the source without its rays and the rays without its source. And so when you consider those things, you get around the issue of a dependent God because you don't have a being that is dependent on another creature because the Son is eternally with him and they're of the same essence as the Nicene Creed says, they're homoousion. But Islam is dependent on that. So because it is dependent, with Islam being Unitarian, they have a God who is dependent on creatures. That is the Muslim God. In order to be merciful, in order to be loving, in order to be any of these things, he's dependent on creatures. He's dependent on creatures for these things. Let's hit some comments real quick. We got, let's see, nah, Muslim better. I would strongly disagree, as first off, you have a lot of philosophical issues, you got a lot of ethical issues, you got statistical issues, you got contradictions. We've done so many videos on these that you can see a lot of the issues here. In fact, hold on. All right, good. In fact, we have a stream from last Thursday, I think it is, where we see, is it Thursday or Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday, last Tuesday maybe, where we look at several of the things you don't want to be said in Islam, in the Quran. Last Thursday, there we go. Last Thursday was then we went through the Hadith, and we looked at several things that are strong Hadith, and you don't really want to affirm those. So saying that Muslim better, just all the data says no. Nah, all cap. Cool. What's your religion? I am a Christian. That enough said on that front. Let me check, make sure there's no other comments. Instagram looks like we're good right now. Sorry guys. Some of the programs don't show me what comments pull in where, so I have to check on different devices in order to get them to show up. Let's make sure there's nothing on TikTok. Alrighty. Doesn't look like we have anything up there, so we should be pretty good right now. Yeah, we're good. All right. So Islam, we're already seeing with IP's video that he just did. You have video receipts. Hold on. We good? Okay. We already saw in IP's video that we have video receipts. We have screenshots. We got things that were even just done on live stream. People were able to catch on live stream. Stalking, inappropriate remarks regarding other people's wives, talking about being violent towards them, and just a lot of things. And you're seeing that, look, if you actually read the Quran, especially when you check the Arabic, and the best part is they don't hide this from you. And that I don't mean the translations. I mean the Quran. It's like the Quran website itself, and the interlinear does not hide these things from you. They do promote these things. Again, you can check our past 2 live streams where we go through these things, and you see, nope, that's an issue. Things are being promoted, things are being taught, things are being recommended, if you will, that are very problematic. Anyways, so that's just one video. Now we have another video. Hold on, we frozen again? All right. So we have another video that we're going to look at today. It's another one from IP. We're cruising through them. It's about a 6-minute video. So we will look at that video. All right, let's get this up. Share the screen. All right, and let's add the stage. There we go. And let's do bam. Bam. All right. So just to get you guys caught up real quick, this is the second video we're looking at from IP's stream clips. I believe is what the channel is called. I wanted to pull up the actual video by Jesus Whatnot. For those who don't know who Jesus Whatnot is, he is more, he's more on TikTok. He's primarily a Catholic apologist. And what that means is that he's primarily he does some apologetics or polemics towards Islam, but he does a lot more apologetics in defense of Catholicism as the one true church, as opposed to Protestantism and Eastern Orthodoxy. And he does a lot of polemics regarding Eastern Orthodoxy, Eastern Orthodoxy, Oriental Orthodoxy. Man, I just screwed up my words. And Protestantism. And more specifically speaking, Protestantism, you could be, I guess, broken up into, some people would say high church versus low church. It's more, depending on who you really want to talk to. Some will say only Reformed are technically Protestants, and then everyone else says something else. It kind of depends on how you want to define it. Anyways, his point, his main goal is to demonstrate why he thinks Catholicism is the one true, it's the fullness of the faith. Let's put it that way. I think it's a better way to phrase it. So he's also been doing some polemics against Islam, which then roots into this video that he makes. And so they're going to be watching this video, and we're going to watch it too.
did you guys hear the FBI went to a Catholic creator, Jesus, and what's not house to alert him that a terrorist group in the Middle East are targeting him? No.
Wow.
Wait.
Jesus and whatnot is the
Okay.
same Catholic apologist too.
So he's just giving the same summary I just gave you.
Have noticed that I randomly stopped talking about Islam for over 1 month. And the reason that I did that is because I was talking about Islam.
Yeah,
It's
it's that
pretty
guy. Make
low
sure you guys
bar.
are getting this.
A lot of you have noticed that I randomly stopped talking about Islam for over 1 month. And the reason that I did that is because I was threatened by a terrorist organization. One day, while I was at work, I got a text from a family member of mine telling me that I needed to come home immediately because the FBI was at my house. So I got in the car, got on the phone with this family member, and drove home. When I arrived home, there was a man waiting outside. He showed me his badge, informed me that he was with the FBI, and then told me that we needed to talk. He told me that there was a terrorist group based in the Middle East and that they were targeting me, calling me a kafir because I was a threat to the Prophet Muhammad's dignity. This terror.
Okay. So let's just make sure that things are coming in clearly. So what we got from this right now is this issue. So he has been making polemics against Islam, but it then rooted into a threat allegedly from a terrorist group out in the East. And the FBI shows up, or he's being called in by the FBI to share this stuff. Now, so this is pretty much what's happening. He says that he's being threatened from like a terrorist organization because, well, he does have a huge platform. Like he is pretty well known. And he was pretty much going after Islam pretty hard for a while there. But it resulted in this. So let's keep going.
Terrorist group had pictures of me, private information, and were actively looking for my address with plans to unalive me and those around me. The FBI agent then told me that it was probably smart to stop engaging with Muslims online for a little bit for the safety of myself and my family members. This really upset me because
Okay, so being told not to make content anymore because he's being threatened. So just the very fact that in this country, if you make any comments, like look here, Call to Defend will respond to accusations made against Christianity. Like we will do that, but we're not gonna like come after you. We're not gonna even like supposedly make threats about you or do anything like that. Anyone who does is clearly not a Christian, because they don't understand at all the teachings of Jesus. But Islam would allow such a thing. So here's where we're at with this. Okay, so let's keep watching a little bit.
I had an upcoming debate with the Orthodox Muslim, and I unfortunately had to tell him that I could no longer debate. However, he then used that private information and shared it publicly as an attempt to embarrass me, even after I told him that he was actively endangering my family by confirming with the public that the FBI did have to come to my house and that this terrorist organization was making real progress towards finding who I was.
This is how messed up.
So just with that clip, we don't need to hear their thoughts really. They're not why we have this video up. So what can we take away from this? What we can take away is the very fact that you have Muslims coming out there and basically demonstrating that the very thing that they tell us that they don't do, they are doing. They say they do not do this or that. You know, they're peaceful, or at least that's what the left wants to tell us. You know, that there's peacefulness in there. If you're talking about Western Muslims, maybe some of them, for in general, especially with the teachings of Islam, no, that is not the case. Islam is not really one of those peaceful religions out there. If there is anything at all, I like how it was said at the DC debate that it's more of a westernization of it. And honestly, a lot of the ones in the West don't really know what it, the Arabic says. Excuse me. They don't know what the Arabic says, nor do they actually, or they don't even read their text. Now, sure, someone can go back and say, well, do you Christians even really know your text? Some don't. And I'm going to be honest, they don't. But here's the thing. You don't find commands to go do the things that Islam teaches, especially in actually really any of it. You don't really get those things. And even then, you can back it up with historical context and ancient Near Eastern languages and all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing, too. You could do the same with Islam. And Islam confirms, the history of Islam confirms that it is a violent religion. Whereas the ancient Near Eastern context of the Bible keeps confirming that it is not Islamic in that way. Let's see. Where is Caleb on his way yet? No? What a little bum. What a loser. You know, I think everyone should just leave a comment saying how much of a loser Caleb is. Do it for me. It would make me so happy. Just say Caleb's a loser. Because it's true. It's just 100% true. Just kidding. All right, let's keep rolling. So, any new comments? We got the 1,000,001 highs from Caden. Here, make sure we're all good still so far. Okay, so Caleb sent me some surahs to check out. So we're going to peruse through those a little bit and see some stuff in here. Where I see some things that not going to be helpful. So let's get it up here. My internet is bugging out on me. All right. Share screen. All right, let's keep rolling. Here we go. And add to the screen. Hey now. I want to take the comments off the screen so you guys can see the Quran better. All right. All right, let's get this rolling. So this is Surah At-Taba. It is, as you can see, I'm scrolling a ways. I think the nice thing about this website, if you're curious about reading the Quran for free, is that you can, in fact, whoops, nope, we're good. You can, in fact, get this for free online, and you can check the Arabic and do like interlinear stuff. The only problem is that I don't like is just how it's all sectioned off, because it's just janky. Like it's just a lot. But the nice thing is you can like, hey, look, highlights. Woo, that's fun. We like those things, don't we? Anyways, where is Caleb? Yeah, we're looking at Surah 9 and Surah 24. I'm feeling wild. Let's go to 24 first. So this is Surah An-Nur. It is also a long surah. You ready? Watch. I'm going to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Oh, not as long. And this one is an official number of, come on now. Come on. Oh, you can do it. Oh, you are bugging out on me, internet. So sad. Bugging out on me. So one thing I don't like about where I stream from. Internet sucks. Anyways. Oh, I think I stalled long enough for Kel to try and show up, and he has not done so. So this is a surah which we have revealed and made its ruling obligatory and revealed in a clear commandments so that you may be mindful. Okay, so we have clear commandments. So in case there's any speculation that I might be wrong here, we go from right to left. This is similar to Semitic languages, specifically Hebrew. Very different writing structure though. Clear, okay? This is clear verses that are clear so that you may know to take heed. So take heed so you may know clear verses therein, and we have revealed we sent it down. Sorry. Okay. So as for female and male fornicators, give each of them 100 lashes, and do not let pity for them make you lenient in enforcing the law of Allah. If you truly believe in Allah and the last day, and let a number of believers witness their punishment. Ayah 3. Male fornicator would only marry a female fornicator or idolatress, and a female fornicator would only be married to a fornicator of idolater. This is all forbidden to the believers. Those who accuse chaste women of adultery and fail to produce 4 witnesses, give them 80 lashes each, and do not ever accept any testimony from them, for they are indeed the rebellious. except those who repent afterwards and mend their ways, then surely Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. We already kind of talked about how he's a dependent merciful. He's dependent forgiving because he's dependently love. He depends on creatures to love. So he's dependent God anyways. And Gregory Mrs. view, he would be not God. He'd just be like a most high deity by title, by declaration, not by actual godness. Anyways, and those who accuse their wives of adultery but have no witness except themselves, the accuser must testify, swearing 4 times by Allah that he is telling the truth, and a 5th oath that Allah may condemn him if he is lying. For her to be spared the punishment, she must swear 4 times by Allah that he is telling a lie. Okay, so far, remember, these are things that it is clear commandments. Okay, so it's not like in the Torah where it's like following a specific code line, where it's not doing things such as in ancient years of context, where it's using like wisdom literature as its base. These are clear commandments that you must do these things. Okay, so we're gonna keep going. And a 5th oath that Allah may condemn if he is lying. For her to be spared the punishment, she must swear 4 times by Allah that he is telling a lie. And a 5th oath that Allah may be displeased with her if he is telling the truth. You would have suffered had it not been for Allah's grace and mercy upon you, and had Allah not been accepting of repentance, all wise. Oh, come on, internet. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. You can do it. We need to just refresh. Let's see. Watch. 5, 6, 7, 8. There it is. You would have suffered had it not been for Allah's grace and mercy upon you, and had Allah not been accepting of repentance, all wise. Indeed, those who come up with the outrageous slander are a group of you. Do not think that this is bad for you. Rather, it is good for you. They will be punished each according to their share of the sin. As for their mastermind, he will suffer a tremendous punishment. If only the believing men and women had thought well of one another when you heard this rumor and said, this is clearly an outrageous slander. Why did they not produce 4 witnesses? Now, since they have failed to produce witnesses, they are truly liars in the sight of Allah. Had it not been for Allah's grace and mercy upon you in this world and the hereafter, you would have certainly been touched with tremendous punishment for what you plunged into when you passed it from one tongue to the other and said with your mouths that you had knowledge of taking it lightly, while it's extremely serious in the light of Allah. Okay. So right now, again, these are all clear commandments. Things to do for slander, things to do for fornication, things to do for false testimony. Dealing with a lot with lashes and stuff. Here, can we find out the official number now? Scroll. There we go. 64. So not 100, however many was in the last one. Let's go back up. Oh, we're in the 40s. We want to go higher than the 40s. We need to get into like 20s. There we go. Okay. Indeed, those who love to see indecency spread among the believers will suffer a painful punishment in this life and the hereafter. Allah knows, and you do not know. You would have suffered had it not for Allah's grace and mercy upon you, and had Allah not been been ever gracious, most merciful. Now, okay, want to pause here because like I said before, we discussed the issue of Allah being with the merciful issue, but even when it's saying most, he's still dependent on a creature to be able to be merciful, and which would be rooted in love and justness. So it's just from that point alone, it's just kind of bonkers to try to make him actually understand how he actually is God. Never mind the fact that in the hadith that he says and does several things that are or sends people to do several things that are just very questionable. But, O believers, do not follow the footsteps of Satan. Whoever follows Satan's footsteps, then let them know that he surely bids all to immortality and wickedness. Had it not been for Allah's grace and mercy upon you, none of you would have ever been purified. But Allah purifies whoever he wills, and Allah is all hearing, all knowing. Okay. Do not let the people of the virtue and affluence among you swear to suspend donations to their relatives. Okay, so these are things like, oh yeah, look, it sounds good. Right? So again, do not let people of virtue and affluence among you swear to suspend donation to their relatives, the needy, and the immigrants, and cause of Allah. Let them pardon and forgive. Do you not love to be forgiven by Allah? And Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. See, he's so forgiving, so merciful. Surely those who accuse chaste, unsuspecting, believing women are cursed in this life and the hereafter, and they will suffer a tremendous punishment. On the day, their tongues, hands, and feet will testify against them for what they used to do. On the day, Allah will give them their just penalty in full, and they will come to know that Allah alone is the ultimate truth. Never mind the fact that you can't really do anything according to the hadith. But anyway, that's just besides the point. Wicked women are for wicked men, and wicked men are for wicked women, and virtuous women are for virtuous men for virtuous women. The virtuous are innocent of what the wicked say. They will have forgiveness and an honorable provision. O believers, do not enter any house other than your own until you have asked permission and agreed as occupants. Right? Okay, these sounds like decent things, right? These are things that are like, people are like, yeah, look, right here. Islam is fine, totally fine. If you find no one at home, do not enter until you've been given permission. Yeah, sure. And if you have asked to leave, then leave. That is pure for you, and Allah has perfect knowledge of what you do. There is no blame on you if you enter public spaces where there is something to benefit you, right? So here's like some decent commands. O Prophet, tell the believing people to lower their gaze and guard their chastity. That is pure for them. Surely Allah is all aware of what they do. Tell the believing women to lower their gaze and guard their chastity, and not to reveal their adornments except what normally appears. Let them draw their veils over their chests and not reveal their hidden adornments, except to their husbands and their fathers, their father-in-laws, their sons, their stepsons, their brothers, sons, or sister sons, their fellow women, those bondwomen, and their possession male attendants with no desire, or children who are still unaware of women's nakedness. Let them not stomp their feet or draw attention to their hidden adornments. Turn to Allah and repentance altogether, O believers, so that you may be successful. So completely covering up the women. As we kind of get that practice from. Marry off the free singles among you, as well as the righteous of your bondmen. Sorry, that was my girlfriend. As well as your bondmen and bondwomen. If they are poor, Allah will enrich them out of his bounty, for Allah is all bountiful, all knowing. Let those who do not have the means to marry keep themselves chaste or chaste until Allah enrich them out of his bounty. And if any of those bonds people in your possession desire a contract to buy their own freedom, make it possible for them. All right. So we like. I don't want to like. I should make it clear, right? Because we do dunk on Islam. A bad apple can have some things right, sometimes. Doesn't mean, but the issue is that we saw before. Like you got these severe punishments at the very beginning, and they get all these things here. It's like, okay, no, that's common sense. You just wouldn't do those things. Never mind the fact that Muhammad does do those things, and he's totally fine. Indeed, we have sent down to you clear revelations along with the examples of those who had gone before you and a lesson to the God-fearing. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. His light is like a niche in which there is a lamp. The lamp is in crystal. The crystal is like a shining star, lit from the oil of a blessed olive tree, located neither to the east nor to the west, whose oil would almost glow even without being touched by fire. Light upon light, Allah guides whoever he wills to light, and Allah says forth parables for humanity, for Allah has perfect knowledge of all things, except for how to make someone read. The light shines through houses of worship, which Allah has ordered to be raised, where his name is mentioned, his glory there morning and evening, by men who are not distracted either by buying or selling from Allah's remembrance, or performing prayer. Or am I just really going to be reading all this? I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll right now, aren't I? I don't think that's true. Anyways, so sorry, I had a comment. I don't know if this is the bot or not, because if it's not, this would be the first time ever, which is new, cool. But also, I don't know, because we have had bots earlier in this chat. So if it's off the check, I can't see which account it's on. I don't think we can. I don't know if we're monetizable yet. Are we? I don't think so. Find out. Anyways, my brain just kind of shut down for a second. Let me hide that. Anyways, sorry. I need to stop getting distracted. But it's so fun being distracted, you know? Being distracted is a good way to go sometimes. Oh, let's see. Oops. There you go. All right. So we were working through some of the Quran here. in Surah 24. I'm still waiting for Caleb. As for the disbelievers, their deeds are like a mirage in a desert, which the thirsty perceive as water, but when they approach it, they find it to be nothing. And so they find Allah there in the hereafter ready to settle their account, and Allah is swift in reckoning. Or their deeds are like darkness in deep sea, covered by waves upon waves, topped by dark clouds, darkness upon darkness. If one stretches out their hand, they can hardly see it, and whoever Allah does not bless with light. Excuse me. It's my dinner. Had a friend from church deliver this nice massive thing of pasta and meatballs, and I ate way too much. However, I had a good leg workout today, so it was kind of worth it. But all those carbs are kind of coming back to fight me right now. Should have drank more water. Where did we leave off? Right here. Do you not see that Allah is glorified by all those in heaven and the earth? Even the birds are as they soar, each instinctively know their manner of prayer and glorification, and Allah's perfect knowledge of all that they do. To Allah alone belong the kingdom of heavens and the earth, and to Allah's final return. Meatballs. Do you not see that Allah gently drives the clouds that joins them together, piling them into the masses, from which you see raindrops come forth, and he sends down from the sky mountains of clouds. We've kind of left the whole commands thing to surah, right? And we say like 30 surahs ago, no, 45 surahs ago, we're doing clear commands. He alternates day and night. Allah created from water every living creature. Some of the crawl on the belly, some walk on 2 legs, some walk on all 4. Allah creates whatever he wills. We have indeed sent down. Hey guys, by the way, this doesn't work for your scientific miracles. Just saying. We've indeed sent down revelations clarifying the truth, but Allah only guides whoever he wills to the straight path. So only who he wills. Never mind the fact that he also deceived pretty much all of the church fathers with Jesus' death on the cross, specifically the apostles. You know, I guess that was just will to lie to everyone, according to the hadith and the Quran. And the hypocrites say, we believe in Allah and the messenger, and we obey. And then a group of them turns away so soon after that. These are not true believers. And as soon as they are called to Allah, his messengers, so he may judge between them, a group of them turns away. But if the truth is in there, I said truth. If the truth, you want to say truth, not truth, is in a favor, they come to him fully submitting. Is there a sickness in their hearts, or they doubt in mind, or do they fear that Allah's message will be unjust to them? In fact, it is they who are the true wrongdoers. The only response of the true believers when they are called to Allah and his messenger so that he may judge between them is to say, we hear and obey. It is they who will truly succeed. Whoever obeys Allah and his messenger and fears Allah and is mindful of him, then it is they who will truly triumph. They swear by Allah their most solemn oaths that if you, O Prophet, were to command them, they would certainly march forth in Allah's cause. Say, you do not have to swear, your obedience is well known. Truly, Allah is all aware of what you do. Say, obey Allah and obey the messenger. But if you turn away, then he is only responsible for his duty, and you are responsible for yours. And if you obey him, you will be rightly guided. The messenger's duty is only to deliver the message clearly. Allah is promised those of you who believe and do good that he will certainly make them successful in the land, as he did with those before. And he will surely establish for them their faith, which has been chosen for them, and will indeed change their fear into security, provided that they worship me, associating nothing with me. But whoever disbelieves after this promise is they who will be rebellious. Moreover, establish prayers, pay alms taxes, obey the messenger, so you may be shown mercy. Do not think, O Prophet, that the disbelievers can escape in the land. Their fire will be their home, indeed, what an evil destination. Hey, we're going to hell, guys, for being Christian. O believers, let those bondspeople in your possession and those of you who are still underage ask for permission to come in at 3 times before dawn prayer, when you take off your outer clothes at noon, and after the late evening prayer. These are 3 times of privacy for you. Other than these times, there is no blame on you or them to move freely, attaining to one another. This is how Allah makes the revelations clear to you, for Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. And when your children, we're almost there, guys. When your children reach to the age of puberty, let them seek permission to come in as their seniors do. This is how Allah makes the revelation clear to you, for Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. As for elderly women past the age of marriage, there is no blame on them if they take off their outer garments without revealing their adornments. But it is better is that Caleb? There he is.
Hey.
You're about to see me finish reading the entirety of Surah 24.
Great. No, that's what I was hoping to come into.
I'm almost there. As for elderly women past, and let me cook. As for elderly women past the age of marriage, there is no blame on them if they take off their outer garments without revealing their adornments, but it is better for them if they avoid this altogether. And Allah is all hearing, all knowing. There is no restriction on the blind or the disabled or the sick, nor on yourselves if you eat from your homes or the homes of your fathers or your mothers or your brothers or your sisters or your parents' uncles or your parent aunts or your maternal uncles or your maternal aunts or from the homes in your trust or the homes of your friends. There's no blame on you eating together or separately. However, when you enter houses, greet one another with a greeting of peace from Allah, blessed and good. This is how Allah makes his revelation clear to you, so perhaps you will understand. Almost there. There's three left. The true believers are only those who believe in Allah and his messenger, and when they are with him on the public matter, they do not leave without his permission. Indeed, those who ask your permission, O Prophet, are the ones who truly believe in Allah and his messenger. So when they ask your permission for a private matter, grant permission to whoever you wish and ask Allah's forgiveness for them. Surely Allah is all forgiving, all most merciful. Do not treat the messenger's summons to you as lightly as your summons to one another. Allah certainly knows those who you will slip away, hiding behind others. So let those who disobey his orders beware for an affliction may befall them, or a painful torment may overtake them. Surely to Allah belongs whatever is in heaven and earth. He knows well what you stand for, and on the day will all be returned to him. He will inform them of what they did, for Allah has perfect knowledge of all things. Okay. Cook through all of that. First off, I want to point out that this entire chapter, it said this chapter was dedicated to commands, and it abandoned that 20 verses later. And that annoys me. Point being, Caleb, I know you have more specific thoughts on this. But let's go with this.
I don't know what this is. So
this is verse 24. You text me this is one of the surahs you wanted to look at.
Maybe.
You texted me 9 and 24.
94. 94.
My text says 24.
That might have been speech to text. Because I sent that while I was driving.
I feel like an idiot.
Did you read the whole surah?
I did. I was so proud of myself too. But here's the thing. I'll point out the surah 24. Hold on.
Okay, I'll let you cook.
I want to caveat.
But that's fantastic.
I want to caveat. Okay. First off, surah 24 makes it very clear that Allah is all merciful. He's all knowing. He's that his commands are true. Am I frozen? There we go. Come on. There we go. First off, as I mentioned before, the merciful thing, it does not work philosophically speaking. Allah is a dependent God in that factor. All knowing, I just want to point out again with the hadith that we looked at and the surahs we looked at, there's too many times when Allah doesn't know what the heck he's doing. But let's just go with this. This surah, in short, is making these claims and orders on how people ought to live. And there's some things you can say, oh, that's probably kind of true. It's the meatballs again. Point being is that, is there a lot of ridiculous things in this chapter? No. However, there's a lot of specific claims about who Allah is, which is important, because if we're going to be considering what is the truth of which religion and the claims they are, we understand that if it makes a claim, then we need to verify if those claims are correct. And if it's in a context where we are misinterpreting it, we understand that context. As I pointed out earlier, you have things up here earlier on where it's talking about the what you do to those who are fornicators. You know, this is if you're under Islamic law, and people who are deceivers and all those kind of things, which some people may buck up against. And what I'll say is this: if your people are going to quickly say, "Oh, look at the Christian, your Torah says that," and it's like, again, it's considered a context, historically speaking, but and that functions very differently. But at the same time, with the Islamic one, you can actually check the history where they actually do this, and they still do this to this day. You can say that's good or bad, but I kind of want to more emphasize the issues of the fact that they make very specific claims about who Allah is. He is all merciful. He is most merciful. He's all forgiving. He is all knowing. But the problem is that almost all of those factors, what they just say of him, apart from knowledge, which has just been demonstrated by himself to be false, those other things are all things that he is dependent upon a creature for. Caleb, you weren't here for this, but I was listening to a lecture and I was reading Nissa, of course, and Athanasius today. And what I found fascinating was Nissa the way he actually responds, one of the ways he responds to Eunomius is that he says, like, if you're talking about God and something like these properties, like the omnis and all these kind of things, the immutability and all those kinds of things. If you're talking about the Father, we totally agree with you. We have no problem there. We're totally good with that. So here's your problem, though. For Gregory, as he clears out the rest of that paragraph, he makes it very clear that he and the Cappadocians believe that fatherhood is am I frozen? Okay. He and the Cappadocians, but especially him, argue that it is essential that God is a father, which is why they treat father as title and God as name. And so that's when he says to Eunomius, he's like, well, the very fact that you reject that God can be a father, or that God is father eternally, you might as well just go join the Jews, because they believe in a God that they call Most High, but not Father. And so he's kind of playing into the relational categories about how God is a father eternally. And so, like, even with that idea of like this relational aspect, Islam is incapable of having a God who is not dependent upon a creature in any of the relational categories. Not only that, but it denies the very thing that the Torah and the Injil claim that God is. God is a father. He's eternally a father. So all these claims here sound nice, but they're dependent on the fact that it has to be creatures there. The only one he can get away with is all-knowing, but that's even just demonstrate the very fact that Muhammad's experience is one of a deity who does not know what the heck he's doing 90% of the time. Now that you're here, though, we can look at Surah 9, Surah 94, not 24.
Yeah.
Which one do you have first?
I think we can do 9 because we've already gone over it once. So yeah, you're looking for a Tauba. We're gonna go
164 ayat, by the way.
Yeah, we're not reading all of that.
Why not?
It's still unbelievably hilarious. You read an entire surah that you did not have to. That I honestly applaud you for it. Truly, like that's actually kind of impressive.
Thank you. Yeah. We had a plethora of people here earlier when we were reacting to the videos, and then I opened the Quran and everyone left.
Honestly, understandable. Whenever somebody opens the Quran, I want to leave too.
Yeah. Just to update you, because you know about the IP video where he had to move. But we also looked at, I couldn't get it off unless I had to go on TikTok, but TikTok was giving me issues. But do you know Jesus and Whatnot? Catholic apologist? Okay.
Yes.
So then we watched
I heard
the video of him being threatened and how Orthodox Muslim just kept revealing all the details of it. Now, you can try to say maybe he's just running. That's what the Muslims say. Either way, it's a you're being a tool if you're revealing the fact that, hey, my family is in danger. Can you please not?
Yeah.
But what do you? Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, you all right?
Yeah, I walked in the door for the first time in 13 hours about 2 minutes before I hopped on stream. So I am beat. I've had an extremely long day and a really weird day. Like, I don't know if there's something in the water or if it's a full moon or what have you, but I was working register today. And I don't know, man. All the weirdos came out today.
It is a Tuesday night.
It is. And like on the way back, right? Because I was taking my daughter to my parents' house.
Yeah.
While I wasn't home. On the way to come and get her, I was at a stoplight and I looked to my right, and I kid you not, there was a woman making out with a lizard. Like, had the lizard in both hands and was just kissing it.
Was this an actual lizard or a person dressed as a
Actual
lizard?
lizard. Nope, actual lizard holding it in her hands. There was tongue. And I can't unsee it. And the phrase that went through my head is not something that I can repeat on stream. But the actual phrase that went through my head was, what the man? Like, exactly that. What the man? Because I'm just parked at a stoplight, looking at a woman making out with a lizard. And then, so the way the stoplight worked, I was turning left, and we had a left turn stoplight.
Yeah.
And there was also a straight lane, and she was in the straight lane, funnily enough, ironically enough, I guess. And so their light turns green first, and I just watch her put the lizard on her shoulder and just drive. Like, it was normal. Like, there was nothing weird about that. And I have to share not only a planet, but a community with that person. Because, like, maybe she's here just visiting, but maybe not. Maybe she lives in this area. And if she lives in this area, I now have the knowledge that someone in my community slips the tongue to lizards. And I'm not okay with that.
I'm not either. I don't know how I feel about you telling me this.
Somebody else needs to know.
Now the entire
I cannot
stream
be
and
the
anyone
only
who
one.
watches back will know.
I can say I cannot be the only one cursed with this knowledge. And somehow that is not as weird and gross as what is in the Quran.
So Surah 9.
Yes, we're going to be looking at we're going to start, I think, probably verse 27. We're only going to read through 32. Then afterwards, Allah will turn in grace to whoever he wills, and Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. O believers, the polytheists are spiritually impure, so they should not approach the sacred mosque after this year. If you fear poverty, Allah will enrich you out of his bounty, if he wills. Surely Allah is all-knowing and all-wise. Fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last day, nor comply with what Allah and his messenger have forbidden, nor embrace the religion of truth from among those who were given the scripture. So that right there is talking about Jews and Christians. Until they pay the tax, willingly submitting, fully humbled. The Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah. And then Josh starts giggling.
Because we
While
read
Christians say the Messiah is the son of Allah. Why are you thundering? Such are their baseless assertions, only parroting the words of earlier disbelievers. May Allah condemn them. How can they be deluded from the truth? They have taken their rabbis and monks, as well as the Messiah, son of Mary, as lords beside Allah, even though they were commanded to worship none but one God. There is no God worthy of worship except him. Glorified is he above what they associate with him. They wish to extinguish Allah's light with their mouths, but Allah will only allow his light to be perfected, even to the dismay of the disbelievers. So there are, no, by all means, just take that away.
Well, I don't know if you want to read any more of it.
Well, I was going to point
easy.
things out in it.
Well, that's easy to switch back.
So, point 1. But Allah will only allow his light to be perfected. That would entail that his light is currently not perfect. If you're going to perfect something, if something is to be perfected, that's future conditional. That means his light is not currently perfect. Therefore, Allah is insufficient in some way presently.
So you're telling me that Allah has always been, he was eternally, or yeah, we'll go with eternally insufficient, and now will continue to be insufficient.
Correct, until apparently Muslims perfect him and make him sufficient.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And then if we go up a little bit, we have verse 31 there. They have taken their rabbis and monks as well as the Messiah, son of Mary, as lords beside Allah. Well, gee, pal, where did we get that idea from? Could it be from the followers that you made uppermost, unquote? Which, you know, is the disciples of Jesus Christ. Like, hang on, let me see. Let me pull up the notes because I'm kind of just going off the cuff right now.
Well, let's go. I'll just chime in 1 sec. So we have, like I said,
Go
they've
ahead.
taken the rabbis and monks as well as the Messiah, son of Mary, as lords besides Allah. So firstly, no, those would they do not take the rabbis and monks as well as, they're not. We do not conflate the two together. Now, if they ever did historically, more likely the Jews did, but if they ever did, then they would in fact not be Christians anyways, because they worship other than the triad. Even though they were commanded to worship none but one God. Yeah, yet the Messiah never rejects any of the worship ever. So he must be a false Messiah then.
All right. So I want to pull up hang on.
Yeah, share your screen and then I'll move it to the stage.
Well, yeah, hang on. Give me a second here. Okay. Oh, sorry, I am exhausted.
I can see that. Oh, guys, I might need a new laptop. This one is just running slow. I think it's just because it's old. So if you got a recommendation for a streaming laptop that's not my Mac, I need to keep my Mac from. What are you doing? You could have told me to go there.
Okay, yeah. So this is Surah Asaf, which is the 61st Surah, Ayat 14. O believers, stand up for Allah as Jesus, son of Mary, asked the disciples, who will stand up with me for Allah? The disciples replied, we will stand up for Allah. Then a group from among the children of Israel believed, while another disbelieved. We then supported the believers against their enemies, so they prevailed. Who prevailed? The disciples. What did the disciples teach?
That Jesus is the Messiah, who is the risen Savior and is one with the Father.
Yeah, pretty explicitly, right? And so they Muslims will say that, firstly, that they'll say the Injil, if we have it today, would be Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Or they'd probably discount Mark and Luke, and they'd say it's Matthew and John, right? The eyewitnesses of Christ, they're his disciples. It's like, okay, well, John is the most Christological book of the four canonical Gospels. I can't tell if Josh is frozen or if he's just motionless. Nope, okay, he's just motionless. He's like Drax.
I was about to make that reference, actually.
Yeah.
I'm saying so still, not visible.
Yeah. And then Matthew is certainly no stranger to any sort of Christology. I mean, he is pointing out divine events that Jesus does all the time. So if you're going to say that those are the disciples that prevailed, then you have to deal with that issue. If you're going to say that no, it's another group of disciples, show me them. Show me the group that prevailed against the Christians. There isn't one. And that claim to be followers of Jesus and prevailed against the Christians. There is not one. The Christians prevailed. So Allah right here is saying, yep, it's the Christians who are learning from the disciples. Furthermore, we don't just have Matthew and John as direct disciples of Jesus who wrote things down. We also have Peter. Right? And Peter, very much in that Christological lane. Then you have James and Jude, who were not among the 12 apostles, but were direct disciples of Jesus Christ. And then they will not accept him, but Paul himself learns in Arabia, funnily enough, from Jesus. Right? That's what Paul's claim is, that he received revelation directly from Christ himself. And there's a cool little thing that I'm working on right now to kind of prove that happened.
Nice.
But yeah, so Muslims, you either have to confess that this surah and this ayat specifically is about the Christians, or you have to provide from history a group who were disciples of Jesus and prevailed against the Christians. And so here we have the tafsirs of Ibn Kathir, right? So this is like the guy for them. So right here, we have Allah said, and then he quotes this portion. We supported the believers against their enemies, so they prevailed, right? He quotes that version in the Arabic. He says, and that Ibn Kathir says that this is what this means. So we gave power to those who believed against their enemies. That is, we gave them victory over the group of Christians which defied them. Where? Who? Show me the group. And now hello?
We're good.
Okay. And then, and so he says, and they became the victorious, the uppermost, over the disbelieving group when we sent Muhammad. Yeah, pal, that's not what this says. Straight up. That's not what this says. You just added that completely. And like, hang on, where's the full surah? Show me everything.
Show him everything. This is the
Give me
proof.
everything.
The proof that you don't know what you're talking about.
Right, exactly. Okay. So tell you what, Josh, I'm going to pull you. We're going to read the whole surah because
We are.
Pretty quick. It's pretty quick.
Hold on, I'm a speed reader. I got you.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, stretch out my non-vocalized muscles. Whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth glorifies Allah, for He alone is the Almighty, all-wise. O believers, why do you say what you do not do? How despicable is it in the sight of Allah that you say what you do not do? Surely Allah loves those who fight in His cause. Sorry, my mouse is in my way. Surely Allah loves those who fight in His cause in solid ranks as if they are one concrete structure. Remember, O Prophet, when Moses said to his people, "O my people, why do you hurt me when you already know I am Allah's messenger to you?" So when they persistently deviated, Allah caused their hearts to deviate. For Allah does not guide the rebellious people.
Really quick, amazing that Moses was using the Arabic name. Maybe that's why they didn't believe him.
Perhaps.
Anyways,
And remember when Jesus, son of Mary, said, O children of Israel, I am truly Allah's messenger to you, confirming the Torah which came before me and giving good news of a messenger after me whose name will be Ahmed.
Ahmad.
Well, there's some translations where there's an E there instead.
Continuing on.
Yet when the prophet came to them with clear proofs, they said, this is pure magic.
So I do want to just quickly address this because, you know, whose name will be Ahmad. So they have a little footnote. Ahmad is another name for the prophet Momo. Peace be upon him. Both are derived from Hamada, which means praise. Some Muslim scholars believe this refers to John 14:16, where Jesus says, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another butchering of Parakletos to be with you forever. Parakletos is a Greek word that means the praised one. The name of Momo appears several times in the Gospel of Barnabas, which is deemed Christian. Oh boy, which is deemed apocryphal by Christian authorities. Yes, guys, because it's from the 14th century. It's in Spain in the 14th century. That's why it's deemed apocryphal, because it's very apocryphal, unbelievably apocryphal, like the most apocryphal a book could be. But regarding the Parakletos, we've gone over this before. Jesus literally clarifies in verse 26. He's like, I can hear me.
Don't know why you're hearing you.
I am echoing. Interesting.
You weren't before. Were you before?
No.
Then must just be something on your end then.
Gay. Oh wait. Now it's gone.
Yep, that was just you then.
Whatever. Jesus literally says the Parakletos, the Holy Spirit. Right? He specifically clarifies who the Parakletos is. So unless Momo is the Holy Spirit, it ain't about Momo.
I didn't realize Momo was a spirit.
Yes, we're getting Gnostic on it now. Anyways, continuing on.
Who does more wrong than the one who fabricates lies about Allah when invited to submit to him? For Allah does not guide the wrongdoing people. Never mind the fact that he deceived people about who was on the cross. They wish to extinguish Allah's light with their mouths, but Allah will certainly perfect his light, even to the dismay of the disbelievers.
So you got one. Now we have that Allah will certainly perfect his light. Which
He is
again,
the one who
still implies that it's not perfect.
He is the one who has sent his messenger with true guidance and the religion of truth, making it prevail over all others, even to the dismay of the polytheists. O believer, shall I guide you to an exchange that will save you from a painful punishment? It is to have faith in Allah and his messenger and strive in the cause of Allah with your wealth and your lives. That is best for you, if only you knew. He will forgive your sins and admit you into gardens under which rivers flow and house you in splendid homes in the garden of eternity. That is the ultimate triumph. He also will give you another favor that you long for, help from Allah and an imminent victory. So give good news, O Prophet, to the believers.
Okay, so I want everybody to notice. He will also give you another favor from Allah and an imminent victory. So this is a future statement. And then we come here. O believers, stand up for Allah, as Jesus, son of Mary, asked the disciples, who will stand up with me for Allah? The disciples replied, we will stand up for Allah. Then a group from the children of Israel believed, while another disbelieved. We supported the believers, supported, past tense, against their enemies, so they prevailed, past tense. The tafsir does not work. Future tense. Past tense. Those are two different events. They are not the same. And I can already hear the Muslim response. Oh, but earlier it said about prevailing. right? He is the one who has sent his messenger with true guidance and the religion of truth, making it prevail over all others, even to the dismay of the polytheists. Well, there you go. You have prevailing. Right. In a completely different context, talking about a different people group. We are talking about the disciples who allegedly prevailed. Prevailed, past tense. This is not talking about the Muslims. This is talking about Jesus' disciples. The context of the verse is very clear. You don't even need to leave the verse, but even if you do, it only becomes more clear. So you need to find me disciples of Jesus who prevailed over the Christians and maintained Islam. Find me that in history.
They don't exist.
Ah, that is unfortunate for the Muslim.
Unless you want to say the Arians and the Eunomians, but even then, they didn't prevail. They tried.
And they do not line up with Islam.
No, but at least they believe that Jesus is a creature.
True. But the Aryans believe he's God.
Well, and then I think it was the Eunomians who definitely did not.
Yeah.
And the Aryans believed that he was divine, just of a different
Right.
essence.
Yeah. Yeah. More so a God than the God.
Yeah. More divided and different essence than one.
I don't know why I have my arm like this. I just do.
You sometimes do things and I just leave it be and just don't question it.
What does that even freaking mean? What does that mean?
It means what it means.
All right. So the Quran, to no one's surprise, gets things very historical. I will punt your mom. Gets things very
Why?
historically inaccurate. Not you.
So I was a bit of an extreme random reaction.
The website. Oh crap! Did I get that wrong? Is it? No. Where is it? Where is it? Ah. Well, now it won't load.
That was me earlier. I was like scrolling, it's like, oh, and it stopped.
Yeah, sometimes if you just hit the refresh button, it helps.
Yep.
Yep, there we go. All righty. So this is why this is like the proof one. So my bad, it was 98, not 94. So even if I given you the right one over speech to text that I meant, it was still wrong.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Mine came in 24, but maybe yours picked, I don't know. Sometimes phones get weird. So one time my girlfriend said she texted me something and she sent me a screenshot of it. I was like, that's great. That's not what my phone says.
The eternal battle against technology.
Yeah.
Annie Hoozle. So, well, Mr. Speed Reader, it's 8 verses. Do you want to read it?
I got you.
Okay.
Just stretch real quick.
So this is why, in my mind, we as Christians have justification for polemicizing against Islam. Among a more important reason that we'll talk about in just a second.
The disbelievers from the people of the book and the polytheists were not going to desist from disbelief until the clear proof came to them. A messenger from us, Allah.
What was that, pal?
Desist.
Yeah, you said desist.
What?
You just said desist. Like
a Z instead of an S?
Yes.
Sometimes they do that with an S anyway, so it's fine.
Dude, the English language is screwed up enough. It does not need your help.
So what if I misread? I'm the one reading. You're not. So deal with it. A message from Allah.
I would be
reciting
happy
scrolls
to.
of utmost purity. Containing upright common commandments. It was not until this clear proof came to the people of the book that they became divided about his prophethood, even though they were only commanded to worship Allah alone with sincere devotion to him in all uprightness, establish prayer, and pay alms tax. That is the upright way.
Just hang on. Even though, they're just commanded to worship in sincere devotion and be upright and pray and, pay tax and just just a little thing in there, right? Just make sure you're paying us protection money.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, those who disbelieve from the people of the book and the polytheists will be in the fire of hell to stay there forever. They are the worst of all beings. Indeed, those who believe and do good, they are the best of all beings. Their rewards with their Lord will be gardens of eternity under which rivers flow to stay there forever and ever. Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with them. This is only for those in awe of their Lord.
Well, I am certainly in awe of mine, but I am most certainly underwhelmed by yours.
No. Really?
But this right here, 98:6, indeed those who disbelieve from the people of the book, hey, that's me, and the polytheists, that's not me, will be in the fire of hell, thanks, pal, to stay there forever. They are the worst of all beings. All beings. Not all humans, not all religions, all beings. We are worse than the diarrhea parasite.
Nice.
We are worse than the men of Al Zut.
Well, he did enjoy that.
That's true. We are worse than the demons. This is a justification for violence. This is like just basically openly calling for it. Like, hey, those people over there, yeah, they deserve the worst thing that you can do to them. Because they are the worst of all things. No, thank you. I quite like my head attached to my body.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
So, yeah, so I don't want to hear people being like, you're so mean, you don't need to go after Islam, right? They essentially hitting, they worship the same God as you, right? Like that's something we heard a lot in school. Was, oh well, Jews, Christians, and Muslims all worship the same God. And we used to do in my social studies class, we used to do like little quizzes before class, and one of them, they were online, and so it would tell you immediately what you got right and wrong. And so I got that question wrong. It said, do Jews, Christians, and Muslims all worship the same God? And I marked no. And it said I got that wrong. And so I called the teacher. I was like, it said I got this wrong. I didn't. He's like, oh, no, you got that wrong. They do. And I was like, well, last I checked, the Jews and Muslims didn't say Jesus is God. So I'm pretty sure I didn't get that wrong.
Like there is no Christian who ever has said that. Like I said, Nissa says, if you deny Father, you do not believe in God that we believe. Therefore, you are not one of us. Get out.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And like, just the quickest reading of any of the scriptures of any of the faiths will tell you, okay, no, these three don't all worship the same. Well, if you read the Jewish scriptures and the Christian scriptures, you'll come to the conclusion, okay, yeah, it's the same God. But if you read the Quran, you will get a very, very different picture of God. And to say that we believe in the same God is extremely ignorant. even the Quran is like, no, these guys don't believe the same things.
Yeah.
And because they don't, they're the worst. Literally the worst of all beings. They're worse than the demons.
And the Jews today, with their new interpretation of God, don't even worship the
Right.
same God, technically.
No. Not.
So-
I wouldn't even say technically. They
We can stop
profess
saying-
a singular person of God, a Unitarian God.
So we can stop saying, because some people will say, well, they believe in the Father, but we just believe in also adding Jesus. Like, no. You can't have the Father if there is no Jesus. So no.
Yeah.
That's literally
That's-
Arian.
Yeah, no, that would be an interesting polemic for Judaism of like, did God change to become the Father?
I mean, that's literally Gregory Nyssa's response to eunomiism. His letter to him was like, if you mean this, great, we're on the same page. However, and he goes on this tangent. He's like, so because of that, go with the Jews because you're not one of us.
Right.
You believe in a God you call Most High, but he is in
Yeah.
fact not God.
Nope. But yeah, because we are the worst of creatures, we deserve the worst of things. So I'm sorry when you are going to come after me and my family for what I believe. I'm going to come after you for what you believe. The difference between us is I'm not enough of a coward to use violence to make my argument.
Yeah, you don't. I was saying this earlier that you can push back on a Christian, and if they're an actual follower of Christ, they're not going to dox you. They're not going to threaten to kill you. They're not going to threaten to make your wife their concubine and to grape them and all those things.
Again, we're not monetized and we're not going to get struck.
It's like TikTok and Instagram do monitor those things though. Okay, get over it. You're fine.
We'll see.
And here's the thing too. If I ever have to clip something from here, then I also can't use it because we don't censor it technically.
It's not like people don't know what you mean if you say that.
It's just a way to get around the sound system. Okay. Anyways, we don't threaten you with those things. If someone does, they're definitely not a follower of Christ.
No,
Muslims
because Christ tells you not to do that.
Oh yeah, quite literally. But Muslims have precedent to do those. In fact, I laughed. You weren't here for it, Caleb. There's an entire section of Surah 24 where it's talking about to not invade homes and all those kinds of things. Like, make sure you have permission. And I said, joke's on you. Allah did that. And, Muhammad did that. So clearly he doesn't follow his own teachings, Allah's own teachings. So he's clearly supposed to be stoned and lashed and all those things, but he never was.
Funny how that works.
I know. But like you see with like Jesus and whatnot and IP, and these are just two recent videos that came out, and Avery and IP were being stalked like in person while they're going to a church to speak. Wives being threatened. You had David actually getting his wife called up, and his brother had to come over just to watch her, make sure she was going to stay alive. IP actually has to move his house just so he can keep doing what he does without them trying to kill his, unborn child and wife and young daughter. I said you can say that this is just a few of them. It's like in the East, this is common practice. In the West, if they don't do it, it's because they're very westernized. Therefore, they do not know what the Quran.
Or they just don't have the power, or they don't have the power to do it yet.
Yeah, I was just trying to go for the more
generous take.
Yeah, the generous take, pretty much.
But ultimately, why we go against Islam so hard is the same reason that we have dedicated a month to each of these cults and belief systems and ideologies. It's because they're not Christian. It's because they are leading people away from their one path of salvation in Jesus Christ. And Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And what that means is that only Jesus can save you. We go so hard after Islam because I don't want to see Muslims in hell. I have said before that my worst fear is that I'm going to get to heaven and you're not going to be there. I don't want to see you in hell. That's why we do this. That's why I go so hard after Islam. I don't want to see Muslims in hell. I want to see them saved and come to repentance and come to the true knowledge of Jesus Christ. Today, actually, at work, I saw a woman in full burqa. And I was saddened for her. Not only because she has to live in such a restricted way, but because my heart ached for the fact that she has no idea how lost she is. She believes that she is on the right path. And all it is walking her by the hand to hell. If I can tell a personal story, I was writing in my Bible study that I'm doing on Hosea in the commentary. And I talked about a family member who is not saved. And my mom likes to read the commentaries, so I'll send them to her. And she texts me back this morning saying that she knows the family member doesn't go to church, but she would hesitate not to call them a Christian because the person thanks God for things. And I was like, okay, that's all well and good, but he doesn't live in a way that's Christ-like. He mocks Christianity openly. Right? He once pointed and laughed at me for thinking that a man walked on water. And I guess the point I'm getting at there is like just saying, well, sure, he doesn't go to church, but since he thanks God, he's a Christian. It's like that. I understand because we love him, we don't want to think about this kind of thing, but the most loving thing to do would be to point out that he is not saved. He's not. He is on his way to hell, and I'd rather not walk him there by the hand. It's the same thing for the Muslims. I want them to come to Christ. Not because, like it gets me anything. Truthfully, it doesn't. Right? Josh can tell you we have spent a lot of time and money, neither of which are we getting back, trying to bring people to Christ. We don't get anything out of this, at least in this world. We do this because we love people, because we want to see them come to know the true God, the one true triune God. For it is only by him that they can be saved. Something, I can't remember what his name is now, I'm blanking. But there was a man being interviewed and he was asked about his Christian faith. He's like, why are you a Christian? He said, well, I looked at all of these other belief systems, right? Buddhism states that Jesus is an incarnation of the divine essence. It says that he's a way. Islam says that Jesus is a prophet. Atheism says that he was a good moral teacher. Even Judaism, to some degree, depending on which Jew you ask necessarily, but Judaism generally as a whole looks at Jesus at the very least as a very intelligent teacher. They all say good things about him. What does Jesus say about himself? He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. That's what Christ says. So if all of these systems and beliefs and ideologies are pointing at Jesus and saying, yeah, he's got it right, and Jesus says, well, I'm the only way, man, we should be working so hard to get people to that way. We should be making it our top priority that people know the truth. And we should be devoting our lives to making sure that people have the life. Because no one gets to heaven without it. That's why we go so hard after Islam. And that's why we go so hard after every religion, ideology, whatever you want to call it, on this channel. It's because we want to see people truly come to know Jesus. Not for our own gain, but for theirs.
Yeah, this entire ministry started 3 years ago. 3-4 years
Time
ago.
flies.
Caleb joined in year 2. No?
Yeah.
Well, you're going into your second year.
Yes.
I think-
We're closing on year number 2 in December.
Year number 2 for you. Yeah. But it started with a general interest in helping people to come to know that the Christianity is defensible and it is reasonable. And I was getting into stuff and then ran into Caleb, who we go back a ways. Not always a good go back a ways. We had some rough spots, but then we had some good spots. But I remember doing my internship and I said, you know me better than most people in this church. So would you be my accountability partner for this internship I'm doing? And he had an idea after I offered it to someone who was into theology and stuff. And he had an idea to open the avenue for polemics specifically. And so that was an avenue we decided to open up. And so it's all built on the same idea of Christianity is the truth. We want people to know the truth. We want people to know the one true God. We want to know the Lord Jesus, and we want them to be saved through Christ. As it says, no one comes to the Father except through the Son. So that's the reason why we do everything here, is to draw that back, that we have fun doing the other things too that are not always the most heavy-handed or I don't know, serious focused, sure, but in the end, it's the focus is to bring people to Christ. The mission's always been, even if we reach one person, we've done our job.
Amen.
Yep. So with all that said, Caleb and I will be on the road Thursday. We will be streaming. It would be a very different stream in that we will be streaming a large portion of the day. I don't know if we'll probably do a bunch of streams throughout Thursday. We'll also get some recordings in this weekend and some other streams this weekend. Hopefully make some connections, but also more importantly, hopefully we'll be able to find some new things for you guys. You know, if you're a Christian, hopefully find you guys something that you can use to either strengthen your faith or to help you with a conversation with those who are not of the faith, so they can you're able to help them with some of the things they are struggling with or the things that they believe that are not necessarily true. And then for those of you who are not Christians that tune into us, that you can hopefully hear something maybe you're here for the first time, or you hear something you've heard before but presented in a different way that maybe helps get another perspective on it. So we'll begin to do that this weekend. So you should be seeing us pretty active, I think, this weekend, and we should have some pretty good stuff for the next few weeks from that. But our next stream will be Thursday, Lord willing, on the road from a phone, which is going to be interesting. We only can stream to maybe one platform. I think we can maybe get StreamYard to do 2 platforms with our phones. We'll see. And we'll probably stream that the weekend, but then next time we'll have a sit-down stream like this in the original normal setting. Will be Tuesday. Might do some other weird streams. What's that?
God willing.
Oh yeah. So with all that said, please like, share, subscribe the channel, the videos, the streams.
Yes,
Join
turn
our
on the
Discord.
notification bell, because we are going to be going live early on Thursday. We are not going to be going live at 8 p.m. We are going to be going live probably around 8 a.m. Actually, probably a little earlier than that because I want to be on the road before 8 a.m. So.
Yeah, we were on the road by 7:30, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be on the road. We'll be streaming, so be on the lookout for that. Come join us. Join our Discord too if you want to be able to reach out to us more personally instead of just over comments. We'll read comments, but we don't really respond to comments as much anymore unless it seems really important. It's just a matter of time and dedication to things. But if you want to catch up,
reach us is the Discord.
Yeah, get in Discord and you'll get to hang out with us and a few other people from different backgrounds and practices. We got people who are Christians and non-Christians, people within Christianity of different denominations and perspectives. And it's a nice mixture. You'll get to hear a nice array of opinions and stuff. So feel free to join that, have some fun. And be on the lookout. Tomorrow we have a video from Caleb coming out. I broke up his last presentation from the LDS into 2 parts since we won't be able to record this Friday. This one will be finishing the Book of Mormon. The week after we'll be getting into Doctrines and Covenants. This Thursday I have a video reflecting on Athanasius and the eternal generation and what's argued for at Nicaea. It's about a 45 to 55 minute video. I thought it was going to be 15 minutes, and then I just had too much fun talking about the Trinity. So I kind of got sucked in.
Amen. Based. So based.
Friday, we'll find something to post Friday. I don't think we have anything officially yet.
Well, you got all of tomorrow to figure it out.
Yeah. Sure. Maybe we'll post like
also sorry, real quick, the I believe street evangelism is on Friday.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
So that could be something we do.
Yeah, I'm reading the microphone sets. I'm trying to find the small clip ones that we use that you don't like, but they're just easy, they're safer for outside. I don't know where they are right now, so I might have to bring the magnet ones or see if I can order new ones and get them overnight shipped. I'll need to do that now if I'm going to do that. Anyways, so yeah, with all that said, Lord willing, we see you guys on Thursday over the streams, and God bless. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the people who joined early on. We had a good number at the very beginning, so I now know what we should do from now on beginning to hopefully reach more people and have some more fun. With all that said, we'll see you guys next time. Deuces.
Ramadan more like Ramadan. Muhammad, man, is such a clown. Oh wow, what a crowd. No child for a month, but tell me now, tell me how. Is it fasting if you change your meals to nighttime? Tell me how, do you think this vow somehow really makes you holier than thou? Nah, man, stuff in your face for an entire night is only gonna kill you quicker now. Bringing about a lower health condition, but that's Muhammad for you now. He don't care about you only for his clout. Allah, so dumb to choose a prophet, he had to choke out. But then again, what else would a demon do to get his own religion now? Turn from this insanity, please. I am begging thee. Turn away from these awful things. Come to the light where there's a God who actually cares for thee. Actually wanted the best of things for you and me. I mean, consider that this prophet is a warlord. This ain't news, you had to have heard that before. Taking a 6-year-old bride and consummated when she was 9. I don't wanna hide this from you, I just want you to know the truth. Hope you come to see that this prophet ain't for you. Ooh, Islamic dilemma. His teachings will lead you right to Gehenna, but that's what he wants to be less reliable than a radio to rent antenna. Murder so many, enslave so many. It's not even funny how he tells you to kill all those infidels, they be committing a felony. I am begging thee, turn away from these awful things. Come to the light where there's a God who actually cares for thee. Actually wanted the best things for you and me. Yeah. Sent his son to die on that cross. What a boss move, it was at such a cost. Yeah, his plan is to heal the spirit and buy, but you would rather kill it off, whether you realize it or not. Let the spirit break you free from a law, the demon who got you caught. In this false religion, he ain't a boss. He just wants you enslaved. Look, man, at all the destruction Islam has brought, yeah. Yeah, Jesus Christ came down to die for you. Set you free from doom, such a beautiful move. It makes me wanna move and share the gospel with you. Please listen to the truth. Repent and believe in the gospel is all you gotta do. I'm not a lie, I would never lie to you.